Well, it's number of times over. I'm glad you asked that, Elizabeth. It's number of times over. Sometimes I don't absorb it the first time because it's not real. I'll go back through the material a second time, and now I have reality with what the presenter was speaking about. And so I'm able to apply different pieces and parts of it. I go through programs, books multiple times. I go through, this is going to sound insane, but it's the truth. I go through my own programs, the ones that I actually wrote, over and over and over. Because as I go through it and as I learned it the first time and I wrote it out, I develop one thing. And then throughout the year, as my mind expands and I've had further growth, I go through the same, every time I deliver a mastermind, I go through the workbook before I deliver it in person in the classroom. And I really put on my hat of, as you would be, as I don't know, an audience member. What do you, I come from the theater, darling, as an actress. So everything's like the show, the this, and it's not a show, it's a conference. But I go through from the viewpoint of having never been through it before. So I can really see, does this make sense? Is it tracking? And every single time I go through, I expand my own volume and reach and discovery. You know, recently it's just, I went through and of course I know my content, I developed it, but there's always improving on it. And there's always like, oh, wow, this just blew up. I talk about this. I should know better about this. How did this seep through and this problem be happening again to me? And then I have to re-go through again and go, oh my gosh, yes, you ignored that red flag. You made a justification. Everything that I tell people not to do, I did. Don't let crazy into the empire. How many times do I say it? How many things do I look for? Red flags. And I let crazy into the empire. But anyway, my point to that question is, how do you retain information? It's perfecting it. It's rehoning the policies. Like, you know, I used to have the policy like 3 times you're out. Now inner empire, inner circle, 1 time you're out. New policy. Like the higher, quote unquote, the higher, whatever, the more expansion that I have, the more I have to be protective, the more I have to, you know, not, it's just got to be the way it's got to be. How do I retain it? I implement it as fast as I can and go over it a number of times over. By the way, I've listened to all of Grant's books multiple times. And now I'm listening to a book on audio by John Maxwell, The 21 Immutable Laws of Leadership. Has anyone read that book? It's great. So I just take different pieces. I mean, there's 21 laws. Some are going to stick out, some aren't. I just use what I can apply right now. I'm looking, usually when I look at content, I'm looking at 3 to 5 takeaways that I can implement right now. I'm not going to take the whole book away. I don't know how to do the whole book. I'm listening to it for the first time. I'm going to do 3 to 5 takeaways that I can implement right now and get those in. I may or may not come back to the book. I'm not finished yet. I'm only on chapter 7 or 8 or 9. But if I find it valuable, I'll go back through it again. And then I'll do 3 to 5 takeaways. I just did another one, the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Marketing. I don't even remember who the author is. I went through that book. Grant went through it too at the same time. I went through that book 2 times in a row. So that's how I do it. Like some people think, oh, I'm going to pay for, you know, oh, I went to the real estate summit, Grant's real estate summit. I don't need to go again. Well, I guarantee you didn't understand all of the material or how to implement it the first time through. I've been to his programs multiple times. And I'm still learning as a student. So you can definitely retread, meaning re-go through. If you really like something and you got value out of it, your chances are you're either going to double or triple the value the second and the third time through.